Hello, I'm Lowell Martin and this is MCC Today. I'd love to say that I've been working out, but I'm just wearing a tight shirt. On today's show, we have Miss Lucy Moulds, Miss Sheila Johnson, and Mr. Curtis Beckman. You're going to really enjoy this one.
Not essential. Never let anyone tell you that again. Never doubt your abilities to make a difference. How do I know this about you? Because I'm a teacher. I am the one who will push you harder and farther than you could have ever imagined. Teach you things that you never thought possible. And if you will give me 100%, then I will stand shoulder to shoulder with you, and together we will change your future. MCC, find your wings.
And we are here today with the wonderful Miss Lucy Moulds, previously Miss Lucy Ferguson. You don't hyphenate.
No.
And you are the division chair of Fine Arts, and you are also a speech instructor.
Yes.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Now you've been here at MCC for how long now?
I have been here since 2008.
Oh my word. It has been 13 years.
I'm not a newbie anymore. Yeah.
You are not a newbie anymore. The thing is, you're quiet.
Yes.
and you do a lot, but you're not out there with it. Mm-hmm. But today I wanted to talk to you about speech class. Okay, and what kind of things do you do in speech class?
Well, speech class, the design of it is that you compose speeches, you write speeches, but you translate what you've written into the spoken word. Mm-hmm. And so we focus a lot on delivery. Mm-hmm. So we look at nonverbal communication, like your personal appearance when you give a speech, and eye contact, and posture and gestures, but also you look at verbal mm-hmm. communication, like rate and volume and pronunciation and things like that. So,
okay. Now, how many speeches do you typically do in a speech class?
So during the semester, in a traditional fall or spring semester, we have 4 speeches. Mm-hmm. And we start off with an introductory speech where the student, the point of it is that they introduce themselves using 3 items. Mm-hmm. And so they think of 3 objects that describe them, their personality, and they introduce themselves using those 3 items in their speech. Then you have 2 informative speeches where they select a topic, any topic, and they do research on it, and then they turn around and inform the class what they learned.
Okay.
And we encourage students to have fun with the informative speech. It doesn't have to be serious, you know.
But it should be something they're interested in.
Yes.
Because that kind of shows when you're talking about it.
Yes,
right?
And the good part about starting off with the introductory speech is that you learn about your classmates and you learn about what they're interested in and who they are, and then you can gear the other speeches toward what the audience would like, because that's part of choosing a topic is based on who your audience is and the occasion and all of that.
And you're going to talk differently to a friend, a close friend, than you would to a professor.
Sure.
Right. So
sure.
you have to change how you mm-hmm. speak, kind of.
Yes,
yeah.
And we talk about how demographics plays a part in that. Mm-hmm. If you have an audience of all female or all male or younger or older audiences, it kind of changes. The dynamics of your topic selection
sure.
and all that. But so we give 2 informative speeches to have students have an opportunity to select a topic, research it, and inform about it. And then we finish the class with a persuasive speech.
Ooh, okay.
And that's a little more serious. It's a little more controversial
okay.
In the topics, and that you select a side. And you can persuade the audience, to do something, to take action, or to just change their mind. Mm-hmm. So,
well, with a persuasive too, do you limit? I hate to say it like this, but do you say, okay, these are the kind of topics I want you to look at? Because there are some topics that are just kind of there's no persuasion involved. Like, okay, you need to exercise more.
Yes, and that's a great one, you know. But we use the library's resources. They have some really awesome databases. So a couple that we suggest for students to use, one of them is called Issues and Controversies, and they actually list lots of examples of topics. And they also link the students to research, you know, on those topics. So that's one I always kind of point to and say, hey, if you can't come up with something, try this, you know, database. And usually that helps the students to come up with something.
Okay.
You know.
Now,
So-
what is typically the length of, like, okay, like your introduction? Do you incrementally get
A little bit longer.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
start out with what? How long?
So the first speech is 2 to 3 minutes, the
Okay.
introductory. So
Okay.
short and sweet, but believe it or not, you know, sometimes it's hard to put your whole personality into 2 minutes, you know. But
Do you have those that sometimes kind of drone on and on and on?
there
until
have
you
been
to say, "Look"?
times, yes, there have been times, you know, and I warn the class if it gets long and you see me waving at you or pointing at my watch, you know, because I do time them.
Okay.
But one good thing is that students can bring their cell phone to the podium
Okay.
and put it on stopwatch mode, and that way they can kind of monitor, you know, because in real life situations, you know, public speakers will have, you know, some kind of a timer, you know, going, because we want them to meet their time.
Do you
know.
find, or do they find, and I'm going to get back to the times in just a second, do you find though that typically when you get up in front of an audience, they speed up? Like they might time themselves in front of a mirror when they're practicing, but it's a whole different thing to get up in front of an audience.
Yeah, at home when you're practicing, you're more comfortable.
Sure.
You're in front of family or you're in front of the mirror practicing, so you're comfortable in front of that, you know, environment. But surely when you get in front of a classroom setting and your classmates are all staring at you, it's natural that you speed up. And so we try to tell students, practice multiple times, time yourself multiple times, you know, at
Do
home.
they need to add time to it, do you think, because of that? Or do you think that's just the practicing will help them more?
We know ourselves, and we know if I get nervous, I'm going to talk faster. So sometimes you have to account for that by adding a little more content just in case.
Okay.
But sometimes students will say, you know, I timed myself at home and it was fine, and then I got in here and it was like 5 minutes. You know, so it's just either way.
Sure.
You know, sometimes students just, the time goes so fast and they don't realize it.
So, okay, so the introductory is 2 to 3 minutes. You've got the two informatives, and so are they both the same amount of time?
So one informative is 4 to 5 minutes,
Okay.
and the other one is 5 to 6 minutes.
Okay, and so are we going with this theme of adding a minute? So when you get to the persuasive,
It's also 5 to 6.
Okay.
So yeah, so the time is the same
Okay.
for the last speech.
okay. Now, why do you think it is important for students to take speech?
This class will give you skills that you can take with you for the rest of your life. No matter what you do, you will use elements of communication. It can be in a job setting, you know, different majors, you know, nurses, teachers, you know, anything you're going into, you might have an opportunity where you have to give a presentation, a training session, you know, but also the skills carry forward even in life. You might end up coaching your kids, you know, baseball team, and you may have to, you know, use some of these skills in how you coach students, you know. So it's just a class that gives you the most valuable, useful skills, you know. And one of the things we put on a job, you know, resume is good oral communication
skills, yes.
And this class allows you to back up that statement. And you can say, I took a speech class, I have given presentations before, you know, and so that experience is just nothing you can't trade it, you know.
Well, listen, I want to thank you so much for being with us today, and I want to have you on again, and you know, and because I do think this is fascinating, and I think these are some of the skills that sometimes we don't think about that we really need. But thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
We'll be right back.
Meridian Community College. For more than 75 years, we've helped students soar. Establishing the first tuition guarantee program in Mississippi, we put our students first, while creating pathways into the workforce and offering a seamless transition to a 4-year degree. Now is the time to find your purpose and register today, because those who move forward never get left behind. MCC, find your wings.
And we are back, and we have the wonderful Miss Sheila Johnson, who is the coordinator for the Medical Laboratory Technology Program, and you're also the lead instructor. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
Love to have you, as always. Now, your program, is it running during the summer? Do you have summer classes?
It's a full 2 years.
It's a full 2 years,
Yes.
fall, spring, summer.
Yes, the first year you don't go in the summer.
Okay.
But the second year you're in clinicals.
Okay,
So,
and so they're in clinicals and then they'll finish in the fall, or they're in clinicals?
no, they're
and
in
then-
clinicals now. They will finish clinicals the very last day of June.
Okay.
And then they come back to campus with us in July for 4 weeks. And we do a comprehensive review course, and then they graduate in August.
Oh my.
So that August 6th
Oh,
graduation.
and I bet they're all like,
Yes, and they're all getting antsy about that certification exam. But
once
we've
they-
been preparing for 2 years.
You have, and
they're
I know
good.
that. But once they take the certification exam and pass
Yes,
it,
yes.
they can literally go anywhere, right?
Anywhere in the United States that they would like to work.
There you go.
Yes.
Now, okay, what kind of things do they learn to do in your program?
Oh goodness, that's
I
a
know
broad,
it's a lot.
That's
I know,
a broad
I know
topic.
it's a
Let's
lot.
see. Well, the first courses, they're going to learn how to test urine samples.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, urine was one of the very first tests that was ever created in the sense of helping doctors figure out what's wrong with a patient. So
Okay.
it is still just as valuable today, and obviously has progressed a lot since, cavemen literally used to test urine. But it has progressed, but that's one of the first courses. They're going to learn about the lab profession that first semester, some of the ways that they can take this degree and go further with into the profession. That's called fundamentals. Then our second semester, they're going to learn immunology, which is the study of the immune system. So that's why we really like for them to take the courses such as biology or anatomy and physiology. It helps them prepare for that. They're going to take, under me, they will be taking Hematology 1, which is the study of cells. So we learn all about red cells and white cells and how the body defends against viruses and bacteria and all that kind of good stuff. They will also take Pathogenic Micro 1, which I know sounds a little scary. It's not that bad, though, because it's parasitology, really. We put our
Could
parasite.
be really quite interesting, too,
It's
I would think.
actually one of for most students, one of their favorite courses in the program is that learning about parasites. And honestly, how lucky we are here in the United States, because we don't have to worry about nearly as many as we actually learn about, which is always great.
Good.
But that's the spring semester. They don't come in the summer. In that next fall semester, we're going to actually continue. We go Hematology 2.
Right,
So we
right.
continue learning about our cells, Pathogenic Micro 2. So now we pick up with the bacteria.
Okay.
So we've learned about parasites, now we pick up with bacteria. All those bacteria that are good or bad in the body. Yes, some bacteria are good for you.
Yes.
You gotta have them to live. So we learn all about that. And then Ms. Holofield, our other instructor, picks up with her immunology course, and she teaches them about blood bank. That is where you will learn about how to blood products are donated to patients. They learn all about antigens and antibodies, because if you give the patient the wrong blood, it can kill them. So that's one of the most important courses in our program, because you can actually kill somebody with that one. Then she teaches clinical chemistry, and a lot of students shy away from that. They're like, oh, I don't like chemistry. It's not chemistry, as we like to say. It's chemistry of the body.
Okay.
So we're
okay.
going to teach them about HIV and about diabetes and about all of the diseases that are associated with chemicals in our body. So iron deficiency anemia, that has to do with iron. So all these different types of diseases and the chemicals that go with them.
Okay.
So that's their last course in that semester. Then they go to clinicals. And so they get to go experience the hospital setting. They start that the 2nd January in the program. They move through that all the way to June. and then they come back to us and we review everything I just said.
Fun
for about 3 weeks to a month, depending on the semester.
Okay. Now, what kind of jobs, can they look to get once they have this degree? Because I know it's a huge field.
It's a huge field, and you can.
And it's essential. We need.
It's so far past
these people.
essential. I don't even know what the right word is. Really,
Okay.
we're excessively important in healthcare, but they can take this, and first of all, you can get a bachelor's degree.
Okay.
So that's your your next, I guess I should say, your next progressive step. Go get that bachelor's degree. We promote that constantly. We give them information in the program about where they can go to do that. But once you do that, or even if you do choose not to do that, you can still progress with an MLT degree. Most students will work in a hospital lab, or they can work in clinic or doctor's office labs, particularly if you want that 5 day a week, no weekend, no holiday.
Yeah.
Some students really like that.
We do.
Back to that, giving people blood, you can work in a blood center. So United Blood Services, Mississippi Blood Services, those are MLTs that are testing those blood products to make sure they're good. We've had students who have gone to work in the oil industry, and you think, what?
Really?
Yes, oil industry has to be tested to make sure that it's not going to harm people if they come into contact with it. Animal testing with that and things like that. You can go to work at places like water treatment facility plants, kind of interesting. Veterinarians' offices. Interestingly enough, the cells in animals look just like the cells in humans.
Interesting.
So that's crazy, but true. And then they could also, we had a student, it's been a while back, but we had a student that went and worked at a roofing company. Once again, doing the kind of like with the oil testing of different chemicals and things like that, and the effects on the environment. It kind of broadens out a little bit with that, but you can use this background. And then we've also had a few students who want to go into the forensic part of it, which is CSI.
Yes,
but
yes.
you do have to have another separate degree for that, from Southern usually. But you can use this as your background because it gives you a lot of that understanding of what they're going to lead into.
I have a cousin who does that in Florida.
And
She's
it's
just
very
absolutely,
interesting.
it's fascinating talking to her.
Yes.
Now, what's the job market like for graduates? Is there a pretty good demand?
Let me see. The term is completely ridiculous as to how many jobs there are available right now.
Really? Okay.
Ridiculous. They are available locally.
Okay.
They are available nationally. They are available right up the road in the sense. They're available, in the next state. There are so many jobs out there.
And as you said,
absolutely crazy.
Once they pass that certification, they can go anywhere.
Anywhere in the United States.
So is the money decent?
Yes, that's where I was going to head to.
Sorry.
It is amazing and sad, although wonderful for us, what COVID has done for our profession.
Okay.
The salary, if I was sitting here 2019 and we were talking, I would have been a little depressed.
Okay.
And then you would have been able to tell that because the salaries were somewhat depressing.
Okay.
Particularly knowing that you had gone for 2 years. That has changed. The salaries are ridiculous also now. They are average $49,000, $55,000
for a
two-year degree. That has risen, and we like to say approximately $10,000 to $15,000 in the last year.
And how many students do you typically accept?
We take in 15, and we're in that process right now.
Okay.
Taking in our 15 students each August, and there are hundreds of jobs, not nationally. That's hundreds of jobs here in Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi. It's ridiculous.
So anyone who's interested needs to get in touch with one of our advisors immediately.
Or me.
Or you.
We would love to talk to them one-on-one because we can give them a little more information about the program. But if they go through the advisor, that's great too.
Could you give your contact information if you don't mind?
Okay, so my name, once again, Sheila Johnson. I'm the program coordinator, so you can contact me. Phone number is 601-484-8755. That goes to my office. You can leave a voicemail. Or if you would like to do an email, that is SJOHNS29, or 29 as I like to say, at meridiancc.edu.
Thank you so much for
You
being
are
with
very
us.
welcome.
We'll be right back.
Since 1996, the MCC Foundation Tuition Guarantee Program has provided students an opportunity to find their potential. Thousands of students have benefited from the program. Over $6 million have been invested in the students who learn and live right here in our community. This program is funded by individuals and businesses who believe in our students, our families, and the economic impact of an education at Meridian Community College. Now is your chance to offer support. Give today at meridiancc.edu/give. And
we have Mr. Curtis Beckman with us today. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Now, you are an instructor in our software coding program.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you been doing that?
Well, I've been teaching programming for 20 years,
Right.
but I've been teaching software coding for 1.
Okay. Okay. How is it going?
It's going pretty good. I mean, when we started the program, I mean, nobody could foresee the pandemic, and so we started our program the year of the pandemic, our first go-round. So our numbers are kind of low. It's smaller than we anticipated, but other than that, everything's going well.
Well, now, as far as getting in the program of software coding, what kind of things do people need to have done, or kind of knowledge base they need to be able to get into your program? Do I need to be a computer person?
No.
Okay.
We often have to send people or give people, mostly we do it in-house, a little help if somebody needs to be caught up. We try to handle a lot of things in-house.
Okay.
But no, we don't require that level of knowledge. But I guess there really has to be, you have to be prepared for that, because you're going to have to acquire that knowledge.
Sure.
We will give you time and help to get that knowledge, but you really have to be interested in computers.
Sure.
Already.
Sure. If you're just like, oh, I have nothing to do, let me
Yes.
that might
Yes.
not work out
No,
so well.
not so well.
Is it a 2-year program?
It is a 2-year program.
Okay.
There is a 30 and a 45-hour exit point, but we're looking at a 2-year program. If you're coming, you really want to go for the 2-year program.
How many students do you accept each? Is it you just accept once per year, or do you also accept in fall and in spring, or just in fall?
We only do fall because there are prerequisites. We may have a beginning class in the fall and then the advanced class in the spring.
Gotcha.
Now, if somebody comes in the spring and wants to start the program, we will allow them to start the classes that they can, that don't have prerequisites. But that person is pretty much going to have to assume that they're coming to school for 5 semesters.
Okay.
So I don't like to say that we allow students in the spring, because they can't do it in 4 semesters usually if they start in the spring.
So how many do you typically admit in the fall?
That's a little complicated.
Okay. I love complicated questions. Okay.
25 total between computer, it's cybersecurity and programming, because we're both in the same area and our classroom allows us 25.
Okay.
So because of class overlap,
Okay.
the maximum we can have is 25 total.
Okay.
So if there's 15 security people, then there's only room for 10 programmers.
Okay. Okay.
So
now, what kind of jobs, if they get through this program, this 2-year program, what kind of jobs can they look to get?
There are a lot of programming jobs that people don't realize that we have in the area. I guess this would be a good time to point out why we changed the program. We've talked to a lot of people in the industry, and we've gotten a lot of good feedback that changing from a traditional computer programming curriculum to the software coding curriculum was a huge upgrade in the relevance of the material that was covered. We updated a lot of the languages we were teaching to make sure we were teaching the newest, the best. We're now teaching Python and Java. Those languages are blowing up. This will be our first semester to teach full stack web programming and full stack web apps. That may not mean a lot to people that's just hearing it, but if you search for jobs in full stack programming, you'll see a lot in a lot of high-paid jobs. That is a new market that we're able to take advantage of with this program. We did start this last year, so I can't speak from knowledge because we haven't had a graduating class yet.
Sure.
But it's looking good. It's looking good so far.
So you think once they finish the program, the jobs will be there for them?
Yes.
Okay.
We've been pretty.
And at good salaries?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We've had a lot of success with students being placed. Most years we've had more jobs than students.
Okay.
So
okay, that can't
doing
hurt.
pretty good. No.
And they can take it anywhere. I
Yes.
mean, they can literally go anywhere
Yes.
they want to. And I mean, you need that. You need the industries, schools need this. I mean,
Yeah.
we just all this on the news about the hacking and the and I mean, I'm not saying they're going to get into hacking, but I'm just saying that the computers they need programmers. They need this.
Yes. It's one of those jobs that I think of like, say, nursing. I don't care where you move to, they need nurses everywhere you go.
Sure.
And the same thing is true of computers.
Sure.
We're too computerized now. Anywhere you want to live, they need professionals working in computers at all levels.
Okay.
So it transports really well.
So, okay, if you have an individual who is interested, are there any prereqs? Are there any classes they need to take before they can get into the coding class? Or the coding program?
We ask for an ACT of 17 or equivalent.
Is that a comprehensive or just
Comprehensive.
Okay.
We will fudge that a little bit if somebody's really close. If they're, say, more than 2 points or more below that, we ask that they go ahead and take like English comp and get at least a B in that.
Okay.
And then they can come on in.
Okay.
So
really no prereqs.
No.
As far just as long as I have that 17 comprehensive.
Yes, or equivalent.
Or equivalent, and then they can get in and take the program.
Yes.
And
Yes.
hopefully get out and make really good money.
Yes.
And do really well for a while. Because a
Yes.
lot of those I notice will say, they experience required, or they need, but you have to, if there's nobody there, they're going to give you a chance to get in there and start getting that experience.
Yes.
So, and a lot of them want to have the younger people to kind of, or the new people to kind of, come up in the ranks too.
Well, really, one of our overarching goals in the program, and probably the most important one, is we try to teach our students to learn.
Okay.
Fact of the matter is, if you go look in computer jobs, they always have a long list of skills that are either required or highly needed or recommended skills. And nobody has all those. Right. Almost nobody. Unless you've been in the industry for years and years, nobody knows all those.
Well, listen, I want to thank you for being here today, and I'm going to have you on again because this is a great program. So if you're, anybody just sitting around and you don't know what to do, look us up and get into this program and get a good career going.
Yes.
So, but thank you again. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
With so much uncertainty in our world, we are thankful for the heart and determination of those who have followed their calling in healthcare. They work tirelessly on the front lines every day to make a true difference in our community. At Meridian Community College, we take pride in training these heroes and are grateful for their service in this time of great need. These eagles found their wings at Meridian Community College.
On behalf of our executive producer, Matt Milner, and our media consultant, Josh Taylor, thank you for watching. We hope you learned a little bit, and we'll see you next week.